Hello everybody! Today we're going to be looking at about some of my little tips and tricks I have for building some great homes, mainly for survival, and a few gripes I have about certain YouTubers with their tips and tricks about different YouTube Minecraft builds. So we're going to be going in with that today. We're going to be starting with our noob house, with the house that you should not be making in your houses like this. This is pretty clearly a bad house it has terrible depth. The lanterns look so out of place. The leaves are just so like unorganized. Inside's really small. There's not a lot of room to live. And you have stuff like just small contained area. You have exposed grass blocks, which is one of my biggest gripes, is that I think you should be able to cover the entire floor and then add decorations so you don't get stuff that like dirt just revealed underneath and stuff, because that would be bad. And then of course the bed is it just looks so depressing. And then the lanterns, like the ceiling, the framing is just terrible. The framework's terrible. And just the roofing in general just looks absolutely horrible. And of course you could do so much better than this, which is why we're going to be moving over into our next build, which is the one that is correct. So let's talk about the exact gripes. Lanterns, leaves, roof, the flooring, and the roofing on the interior, and the decorations of the interior. Uh, the window is not that bad of a placement. It just doesn't look like it fits. So that is the noob house. And then you have, of course, our house over here. So this is the house that you should be having in your builds. Like this is a more traditional, it's all survival friendly, so there's nothing like creative in here. That's like creative exclusive. This is all able to be built in survival. No debug stick or anything like that. And of course start at the main entrance. You of course want to implement this kind of flooring into your builds. You just want to have good depth with all these different blocks that are varying. And one of my biggest gripes about like stuff like green is that he makes it very difficult for survival, and he makes them so complicated that survival is just really hard to do in a quick matter of time. This though is much more simple than stuff like greens, and then this is like the only complex pattern we have on the floor with the stone and the cobblestone and the dripstone. So it's just all stone really. And then of course you have some lanterns to light up your path, which was not over there in that house. The lanterns look very out of place. And then here you have a front entrance, you have some hanging lanterns, you have the door, the doors are nice because you actually have the wood flooring here, and it has a nice depth to it. And then of course you have some like hanging leaves, because this is a very common occurrence throughout the build. You have some nice curtains with windows, and then bushes along the side, and we will get over there later in the video. So for now, we're going to go ahead right inside, and we're going to be seeing that there is nice wood floors. I didn't want to make the floor too ugly, just like a mess of different patterns and colors, so I just made it a nice simple wood. You could always change this out for like an oak wood. Like if you wanted to go just with a different plank, you could go with like, I think that you want to make colors that contrast pretty decently. Like you want probably something like this type of wood or this type of wood, which would fill the place nice. It wouldn't make the place as great of a vibe, or with like a nice aesthetic, because it's like a little bit lighter than everything else, but it just like kind of ruins it. But different floors nonetheless still would look good. And then up next we come over here, and there's a chest. And there's gonna be plenty of storage. This is very storage centric with all of its designs, and you have nice hanging lanterns that aren't just attached to the ceiling. It's not always the most beautiful thing to see. Some places do look a bit messy, like right here. This is simply because it's stairs leading upstairs, which we will go to later in the video. So we're going to be going outside here, and sometimes you just want to be careful at where you're placing your vines. Like that is a bad place to place your vines, because then you just walk right into it and it's just like super ugly. There's a little waterfall, and of course if you wanted to, this part I'm not going to gripe about as much, but you could make that wood right here. And this is a waterfall which leads to the top floor, which we will arrive at eventually. Now, of course, this could do different styles. It could look different without shaders, which I might go through a full tour of it without shaders and with shaders later in the video. So for now, there's nice hanging lanterns once again. There's a farm, and I can grow stuff, and it just looks very pretty here. And then you, of course, have more storage with the farm stuff because it has to correlate with stuff over here. You could also, over here is just little like designed for water falling down into like the bushes. And there is a reason why there's water here. It's aquarium over here. That's why all that is there. So if we were to hop right back in and then come over this way again, we'll go over, here's an ender chest, and you can come over here, and we'll start over here. And we'll start with this. This is kind of like a arrow garden, where there's lights that are growing the garden inside, and it's not as big as the garden outside, but it's definitely, it's cute. It just, because it's really hard to fill this hallway with something that like looks nice, so this might not be the exact vibe that is being looked for this kind of build, but it just makes it seem more realistic, because I know a lot of people have air gardens nowadays. Here we have the bar, and you get served from over there. And then over here is a nice gas-themed fireplace. Now, of course, you could delete these, and it could look like that. But, I mean, it just doesn't look as, like, it just looks weirder. Which is why I don't keep it like that. And then, of course, you can get some little shelving up here, and if you want to grab some, like, brewing stands here. This shelf isn't labeled because it's just like a random decorative chest. And then you, of course, have coal to fuel the fireplace, and there is a chimney outside, which we will be seeing later. For now, we have a little reading area, and a little tip about these lamps is that it's just a skull and two end rods, and it creates a lamp. I think a lot of people have known about this trick, but if you don't know a lot about it, then you could, I guess, use it. And then we have a nice couch, and we have a book with carpet. This is not actually carpet, this is wool. That way you can actually still place stuff on top of it. I don't use carpet very much, except for over here and here, because you're never going to actually really place stuff, because it's more like an entrance rug than it is like a floor rug. I mean, it's on the floor, but still. There's also a chest for stuff, if you want to do ingredients for brewings, and then this would be the potions that you create. Of course, it's just a little like shelf. You can get some books over here. Here's a nice shelf lining the walls, and shelves can always just fluctuate in the way that they look. Like here, it's just something a little bit taller that could go there. For example, we have this Skulk Shrieker, and then wait, yeah, Skulk Shrieker, correct. Okay, and then there's just some nice decorations. There's plenty of cups everywhere, which it looks like a flower pot, but it's just supposed to implement cups. And then just pay attention to the lights in the ceiling. Like this is just like so much better looking than just one lantern dangling on the ceiling. This is meant to be like a very forest-esque build, so there's gonna be a lot of leaves and a lot of vines going everywhere. So of course we have some kitchen. The kitchens are really hard to make that look good in a wood house like this. So this is really the best I could do. It's very open, I know, but it's like probably my least favorite part about the build, but it still looks nice, I presume. This is a nice fridge, candles, sink, which you could technically get rid of this window and you could put like a faucet here and maybe some shelves here if you wanted to. And then here's the aquarium, which was the whole reason for this stuff outside, which is why that stuff is there in the first place. And then, of course, we have a cutting board and some extra storage and a grill or a stove. And then a nice little aquarium that doesn't really lead to anything else, just a nice cute aquarium. Now, remember, this is all survival friendly, so you're gonna be able to do all this in survival. So if you start heading upstairs, there's a large pillar that leads the whole way upstairs as you want a center part for all your stairs are gonna be being held. And then over here we have a nice balcony, and there's some armor stands, and here's a waterfall that would lead back down to the garden. But anyways, if you were to come up here, this is just to store your armor and like if you have any like horse gear and like saddles and stuff. And just overlooking like the view and the villages in the distance. And you just have some armor as it's not. This kind of build is hard to put stuff around that involves this kind of stuff. I mean, you could add it somewhere else. This might be like a little bit weirder to implement, but it's still nice. I mean, you could go to you could get some glass. You could get some glass, which you gotta always keep the same glass consistency, or else it would look weird. I guess you could add a glass floor somewhere in there, and that would be kind of cute. And then because you could just come right downstairs, and you could look up and see the build. Which I mean, you don't have to do that, but that's just if you have like 2 extra floors, you want to see down at the bottom, and it's like more outside. That would look a little bit better. And then you have the dragon egg. If you've beaten the game, you can put your dragon egg somewhere here. I know it's a little like out of the way, and so it doesn't look like you'll be able to notice it as much, but I mean, the dragon egg isn't really supposed to go on like a huge trophy case, because why would it? You have some more paintings, of course, and the vine's doing that. And then you have storage over here, such as you have this iron, you have these wood planks, and well, this is more meant for like wood and building blocks, as far as a double chest. And of course, you have your bedroom up here, which is much better than the bedroom in that one. I mean, you could add curtains if you wanted to, all that good stuff. There's also an art chest here if you wanted. There's a nice runway which has to go with the mangrove stairs from earlier, because I think if you made it a dark oak stairs, kind of like the walls and the floor, it'd be just too much dark oak. So I changed it up so that it looks a little bit more, better. Make sure this is waxed right here, um, because if it's oxidized, then it doesn't really fit with the lightning rods, because the lightning rods can oxidize. So it's just like a little sign that implements the enchanting room here, and then there's storage for books. You can come up here, and you're going to be seeing some nice storage for just like more messy, not so log cabin stuff. There's like anvils, stone cutting, and a lot of stone up here, and some XP if you want to combine things. It's certainly harder to like find a good place for this, as the whole house is supposed to be log cabin. I mean, I was thinking of adding a boiler room behind the fish tank, but I just didn't. It just made the house look too fat, so I got rid of it. And then, of course, there's a window looking outside, which you could do. And then there's, of course, this house also has a lot of windows. So that's the interior. Now let's look at the exterior. We will start from the front. Now, of course, we've already done the outside here. But here, similar to that house over there, there's ramps for the stairs, for the roofing. But make sure that it sticks out one, so that there's more depth to it, or else if you were to do it like this, it just wouldn't look good. It would look like that. And that doesn't look good. That looks really ugly. So make sure that you stick it out one, and then make sure that your stairs aren't just like this, because it just looks too thin. It looks like they're not separated. They're not connected well enough. So that's why I think you should make it a little bit thicker. And then this is the window. Make sure you make them so that they are fitting for the windows if you make them, or you can just get rid of the window and you don't have to put that there. But here it sticks out of the house, and then it has wood bring it the whole way down, and then under here you can of course have all your farm stuff and all that good stuff. At the corners, lanterns are hanging. Uh, that would just lights up the place a little bit more. And then of course windows are attached. I always put vines on these log planks, and then it spreads because that's how Minecraft works. Probably in real life, I don't know. And then this is the outside of the little room with the chair. It's like a little patio, but like enclosed. So that's kind of what that's supposed to be. And there's a nice glass roof. And then over here you have more of those water things from earlier, as they don't really have to go for anything. I mean, this one does not attach to the aquarium. It is attached to uh, the bar where you can make drinks and stuff. So I mean, that part is just a little bit different looking. This is the only spot that does not have any light. So it's just the most dreary part here, but it's not really important, as you could probably put maybe some like piles of logs here, or you could put some like hay here and like tie up a horse or something. And you could put a like post for a lamp here if you wanted to. Any stuff like that. So, and then over here you have more what we came to earlier with the kitchen and the lanterns with a little roof overhang so that it looks a little bit cuter and has more depth to it. Then you have some more of these. And then over here, of course, the water kind of just comes down. It's more like just a water source going down through there. And then, of course, where the gas for the chimney was, it leads all the way back up here. So that way stuff starts fuming out. And then you have the window that overlooked over here where all the stone stuff was. And I know the roof is really flat, but I mean, you're never going to go up there, and you don't really ever need to go up there. So that's why that part doesn't really have anything to it. So, of course, this place looks a lot better than that one. Oh, also, there's a moss outline to everything. This wasn't necessary. It's mainly just to make the place stand out among the grass. So that's just to add some extra color to it. But yeah, this place is so much better looking than this disgusting thing over here. Now, this house has the same color palette as that one. That way, they both have even competition. So yeah, this is supposed to teach you about how to make better houses in general. That way you're not making stuff that doesn't look so good. And I know that a lot of YouTubers on YouTube have Minecraft videos on how to make a good build, but this is my opinion on it, is that I feel like a lot of them are very hard to get a lot of stuff for that in survival. This is very survival friendly. It's okay if you don't have like a specific type of wood. You could always just change the palette and you could just swap it out for a different one. Either way, you're still going to make a great house, and hopefully you make great builds in the future.